Good morning, world of readers. I am Book Dragon Erin, and I would like to welcome you all back to my booktube channel, where today I will be reviewing Opium Skies by C.M. Radcliff. Opium Skies is a new adult fiction college romance novel with drug themes, so this is more realistic than fantasy-based like I generally read, but for some reason I just love drug fiction stories or novels in general that deal with high schoolers and college students dealing with drug problems. That might be because there were drug addict friends of mine that either fell into drugs even deeper or who got clean. And then one of my family members, they were on drugs, but they're clean now, and I couldn't be prouder of them. But for some reason, I just really love drug fiction novels, which is why Crank by Ellen Hopkins is one of my yearly rereads, but that's a whole different story for now. Anyway, Opium Skies is book one in the In Vain series. Now, that isn't in vain like vanity, it means in vain like the veins in your wrists. There are a few books in the In Vain series, and they include Opium Skies, Black Clouds of Cotton, Heroin-Stained Hearts, and Poison-Laced Truths. Readers who read this series also enjoyed Bitter Pills by Coralie June, Copper by Kay Webster, Ecstasy by K.V. Rose, which is another book that I absolutely love, and Nightmare by Rosie Alice. Now, I will definitely be reading all of those novels as well to see how much I enjoy them compared to the In Vain series and the Crank Trilogy. So if you are new to the drug fiction genre, then I would definitely recommend Crank, because even though it deals with some pretty dark stuff, I'm a twisted reader, and if you enjoy the books that I enjoy, you will probably enjoy Crank as well. Now, as far as a plot twist goes, life is full of variables. We crave control, but in reality, we have very little. Hadley left home with a plan to get the full college experience, and after losing her mom to cancer, she has lost a part of herself and doesn't have room for attachments. Scarred from her past, Hadley just wants to be a normal 18-year-old girl. She wants to have fun and forget the past that she has left behind, but life doesn't go as planned, and when she meets Ander, everything changes. Because Ander lives his own life, going from one high to the next, and personally, the crash is worse than the false high, so why even try something that's just going to make you fall down so hard that it's going to be devastating to yourself and everyone around you? Ander is a bad boy with haunting blue eyes and a history of making terrible decisions. Now, I have made so many terrible decisions in my lifetime, but nothing is as bad as, choosing to do drugs, which is something I would never do. The stupidest thing that I've ever done, I was outside for 3 hours and I got such bad sunburns that my skin bubbled, and then I pulled it and it burst, and there was a little bit of blood, and I still have the scars, which is another reason why I love wearing long sleeve shirts, is because you can't see the scars and I don't feel self-conscious. But that is the stupidest thing that I have ever done, because I will live with these scars for the rest of my life that I can see that not everyone might be able to, but still, I will never do drugs. So even though that's really stupid, I will never do something that stupid. Pulling at a sunburn, ruining my arms, or going into the kitchen and setting pasta on fire. Those are basically the two stupidest things that I've ever done, but I will never do drugs. Ander was never a part of Hadley's plan in life, but neither of them can deny what is happening between them. What starts out as fun and casual begins to develop into something much darker and downright toxic. Their love is explosive, but Ander is an addict who quickly is spiraling out of control, and you can't help but really want him to open up to Hadley, and then the two of them will heal together. But unfortunately, not every story has a happily ever after, and even though I hate books that don't have happily ever afters, For some reason, I'm very happy when reading drug fiction novels that might not have a happily ever after, and again, I have no idea why. Nothing will actually stop Ander from taking Hadley down with him, so that just marks up how selfish he really is, and I wonder if they will actually be together at the end of the series. Most likely they will. I don't know why I get that feeling, but I have an idea that it's not going to be prettier anytime soon. One last thing about Ander, he is the one variable in Hadley's life that she will never be able to control, and they're both basically destined for destruction at this point. Moving right along into my thoughts on this book starts out with a plot twist, and I was pulled right in. With Hadley's beginning, she is saying goodbye to her dad as she leaves for college, then takes a few Xanax pills, and then smokes marijuana as she drives away. And I honestly don't know what I was expecting, but it certainly wasn't that. I thought, hey, Hadley's having a Twilight Saga intro by moving away from her home in Arizona, and I thought, hey, how cool. Wait a minute, there's drugs? Oh, great. Never mind then. Confession here, I actually grew up in a very sheltered home, so when I smelled marijuana for the first time in high school, my reaction to it was actually pretty funny to myself and everyone around me. When I smelled the marijuana, my first question was, oh my god, what is that smell? That perfume has turned. Why would anyone want to wear perfume like that? My classmates laughed, but not in meanness, and some of them actually said that I was the most innocent 17-year-old to not know what pot smelled like. And I laugh about that even today, but I do know that it was a serious matter at the time, and police officers did arrest a few of my classmates for dealing and doing drugs in high school. I have also seen what drugs can do to people because both friends in the past and family have fallen into drugs, and I hate seeing the people I love and care most about crash and burn as they chase the highs. The high is not worth the fall, believe me. Hadley and Ander are poisonous together. Ander is toxic by taking Hadley down with him as he crashes and burns with drugs. Now, Hadley was already addicted prior to meeting him, but she gets worse as her relationship with Ander continues. Now, in a perfect world that I would imagine, they would help each other get clean and climb out of the pitch black pit that they have, and they would eventually experience a happily ever after. However, in the real world, stuff like this actually happens, and 9 times out of 10, it ends badly. I just feel for Hadley and wish that she would find her way out of the darkness, although I don't know if this series is going to end with a happily ever after, but God knows I'm going to finish reading this series because it is good. Moving on to discussing different characters, besides Hadley and Ander, we have Abby. Abby is a character who I don't know if I necessarily like or dislike, because I need to get a better feel on her. She's Hadley's college roommate, secretly addicted to drugs, and she works at a strip club while being a hooker on the side. Now, Hadley hates her, and I thought, oh my god, what will happen if Abby finds out that Hadley is just as much a drug addict as she is? Will they bond over drugs or something and learn to like each other? I could actually totally see that happening, or I could also see Abby getting Hadley a job at the strip club, which might not be the best of ideas, but I will find out what happens later. I just had a lot of questions about Abby as a character, and part of me wanted to climb into the book and just hug her. Hug Hadley more, but Abby, I think, needs a hug as well. To be honest, I am nowhere near even level 1 of drug smarts, so I always thought that dope was just cheap marijuana. I am book smart, not street smart. Anyways, I felt devastated when Ander shot up with the dope, meaning heroin, while finding out that he is in such a state of denial that he still rejects the idea that he is actually truly an addict of heroin, which is so sad. On the other hand, I was cheering for Hadley when she flushed her Xanax down the toilet and promised herself to stay clean. I commend her for that, because kicking addictions is never easy for anyone. I'm addicted to caffeine, and anytime I have less than 2 cups of coffee a day, I get headaches. I know I am addicted to caffeine, but thank God it's legal, and there's no real negative aspect of caffeine other than not being able to live without it. I mean, oh boy, I'm an addict for caffeine. I kind of realize that as I'm talking in train of thought here. Being the perpetual optimist, though, I want to believe in the later books that Hadley and Ander get clean together. No spoilers for the rest of the series, okay? I want to experience every high and every low in this novel for myself, and then we can chat about it. I had so many questions about Hadley and Anders' families, but I don't want any spoilers for the rest of the series unless I absolutely need to know them to better handle the later books if they do get darker. Is Hadley actually close with her dad? Does Hadley's dad have secrets of his own? Does Hadley's dad know that she is an addict? And about Anders' family, how does he feel about his mom? What happened to him and his mom that made their relationship go down the toilet? I am going to finish reading this entire series, there is no doubt about that. This book is addictive to read just as much as heroin is addictive as well. Okay, maybe not that much, but you know what I mean. On a final note, Opium Skies by C.M. Radcliff is quite possibly one of my favorite books of all time. Moving on to my final notes. This book has been a total roller coaster of emotions and is definitely now one of my favorite books of all time. With these characters, I have cheered, I have cried, and I have experienced all the highs and lows with them. Hadley and Ander, Sloane, who is Hadley's best friend, Abby, who is Anders' friend, and all of the others too. Drugs are never something to mess with, and the highs are not worth the crash. Ever. Stuff like this actually happens in real life more times than a person might think, and it's so scary. It's also raw, and this book blows away any and all other drug fiction novels for me, even being on par with the level of the Crank Trilogy by Ellen Hopkins. So thank you, C.M. Radcliff, for this terrifyingly real masterpiece of a modern fiction book. I am here for all of your work. Doesn't matter what you write, I'm gonna read it. You have a fan for life in me. I am here for everything. Thank you for writing this masterpiece. I so appreciate it. That is pretty much it for today, so if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button to show some support, subscribe to my booktube channel to get more videos like this, turn on that notification button to be notified when I upload brand new videos every single Sunday, go subscribe to my second channel, Erin Rogoff Official, where I keep movie and TV show reviews, and basically anything else that is not related to books, like my art vlogs. So all that in mind, I will see you guys next Sunday, and I hope you have a great rest of the week.